Good morning, students, and welcome to the class. We are doing the chapter Cold War and Non-Aligned Movement, and under this chapter, in the previous class, we were discussing the arms race as well as arms control. Because in the Cold War era, what we find that both the things were going on together simultaneously. एक साथ दोनों काम चल रहा है, जो कि दोनों ही एक दूसरे के ऑपोजिट हैं. एक तरफ आर्म्स रेस भी है एंड ऑन द अदर हैंड देयर इज आर्म्स कंट्रोल, एफर्ट्स टू कंट्रोल द आर्म्स रेस as well as arms control. So first of all, we have discussed why there was arms race. Arms race was there because there was the atmosphere of suspicion, mutual suspicion was there. People, superpowers, there was rivalry between the superpowers, tension and conflict, and because of this we see that both the superpowers they wanted to make themselves more and more powerful. They wanted to make a stock of so much weapons and arms that the rival superpower should never thought of attacking them. That was the logic of deterrence. कि अपने आप को अपने जो मिलिट्री स्ट्रेंथ है, जो नंबर ऑफ वेपन्स है, जो एडवांस्ड वेपन्स है, टेक्नोलॉजिकली काफ़ी एडवांस्ड वेपन्स है, उनके नंबर इतना ज़्यादा कर लो कि जो राइवल सुपर पावर है वो अटैक करने की सोच ही ना सके. सो दिस वाज द मेन रीज़न फॉर आर्म्स रेस, क्योंकि उनको उनके बीच में राइवलरी थी, लैक ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस था, म्यूचुअल सस्पिशन की कंडीशन थी, और लॉजिक ऑफ डेटरेंस वाज वर्किंग, and so arms race was there. But the superpowers were very well aware that they are behaving in a very responsible and rational manner, and because of this there is the war will be avoided. Third World War or direct conflict between the superpowers will be avoided because they are behaving in a responsible and rational manner. But still we see that there may be war might occur, because so many situations can arise, like sometimes there can be miscalculation. Superpower may miscalculate the number of weapons which is there in the position of the other side. Then there can be misunderstanding of the intention of the other side. Not only this, there can also be a nuclear accident, and there is also possibility of that a soldier or someone may fire off a nuclear weapon by mistake, or by just in any kind of mischievous act can be done by a soldier also. So in these situation there was a possibility of war, direct war between the superpowers. तो एक तरफ हमने देखा कि आर्म्स रेस चल रहा था, both the superpowers collected huge stock of arms, and on the other hand there was fear in the mind of these superpowers that war might occur. In spite of so much restraint, war may occur because of all these reasons. So now the superpowers were of the opinion that there is need to arms control, and we see that two types of this arms control was there. One was elimination of certain kinds of weapons, which we call disarmament. Disarmament is the elimination, and arms control is to limit the number of weapons. So the effort was started by the superpowers for this arms control and disarmament, and it was started from 1960s. And in this regard, in the previous class we have discussed about some important arms control treaties which were done by the superpowers. And in this regard we have discussed about LTBT, Limited Test Ban Treaty, which was the treaty was about that no country that can do nuclear test in the atmosphere or outer space or underwater. And this treaty was done for the purpose of stopping the non-nuclear weapon countries to have the nuclear weapon. अगर जो भी countries जिनके पास nuclear weapon नहीं है, they can develop nuclear weapon only by conducting test, and this test was banned by this LTBT, Limited Test Ban Treaty. This treaty came into force in 1963, and this was an effort of disarmament because it was for the elimination of न्यूक्लियर वेपन. जो न्यूक्लियर हैव्स कंट्री हैं, जो ऑफिशियली जिनके पास न्यूक्लियर वेपन है, बस उनके पास ही न्यूक्लियर वेपन होना चाहिए. एंड इन दिस डायरेक्शन वन मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट treaty was the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, and this Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty is to it is to legalize, जिनके पास है उनको लीगलाइज कर देना, लीगल कर देना, कि बस वो 5 कंट्री जो कि सुपर यूएनओ के सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल के परमानेंट मेंबर्स हैं, ओनली दे कैन हैव द nuclear weapon country. Other than these 5 countries, no country can possess nuclear weapon. So in this regard, what was the treaty? The treaty was that in the treaty it was written that a nuclear weapon state is that state which has manufactured and exploded a nuclear weapon or other nuclear explosive device prior to 1st January 1967. So after 1st January 1967, no one can manufacture this nuclear weapon. So this was the non-proliferation. Proliferate ना हो, आगे ना बढ़े, बस वो वहीं पर रुक जाए. Okay, and in this regard, the next important treaty was SALT. That was a strategic arms limitation talks. So these are you don't need to memorize the date or year of implementation or coming into force. You must have an idea कि what was the treaty was about. So SALT 1. Strategic arms limitation talks, SALT. Strategic arm limitation talks. First there was 2 SALT was there. So it was one. The SALT 1 was began in 1969, and in this we see that the Soviet leader and the US president, at that time Soviet leader was Brezhnev and US president was Richard Nixon. Both of them signed a treaty, and that treaty was regarding the limitation of anti-ballistic missile system, ABM treaty, anti-ballistic missile system. And then there was, other than this, there was an interim agreement on the limitation of strategic offensive arms also, and it came into force in 1972. So this is a very important treaty because it was regarding the anti-ballistic missile system. And then happened SALT II, and this SALT II started in 1972. After the when the SALT I came into force in 1972 in October, and then in November this SALT II started. And then again we see that the head of both the superpowers signed the treaty, and it was regarding the limitation of strategic arms, and the sign was done on in the year 1979. So after SALT I there was SALT II. SALT I is important for anti-ballistic missile treaty. Okay, and then we see SALT II, and after this there was another treaty, that was START I and START II, that is a strategic arms reduction treaty. START I and START II, strategic arms reduction treaty, START, START I and START II. These are the two important treaties which were done by the superpowers, and that was also for the reduction and limitation of strategic arms. And it was done on the first treaty, START I was done in 1991, and then in 1993 this START II was signed by the head of the both the superpowers. So in this regard, what you need to remember, you don't need to remember all the treaties. The most important is NPT, and after that this SALT I, SALT II, START I, START II. The name must be memorized, and you can see in your book this is given as a plus sign. The page in which this information is given, arms control treaties, a plus sign is there. So it is not the informations given in this page will not be there in your board examination. So you just need to remember the names, and these names must be mentioned in the answer if there is any answer any question regarding the arms control. What measures were taken by the superpowers to control the arms, or why such measures were taken. So in that question your answer must contain these the names of these treaties. Okay, and now we will move to a new subtopic, and this new subtopic is challenge to bipolarity, and this is the non-aligned movement, which is the second part of your chapter. challenge to bipolarity. Okay, so we have discussed how Cold War was dividing the whole world into two parts, into two alliances, the Western Alliance and the Eastern Alliance. And this division of the whole world in two alliances was a great threat to the peace and security of the whole world, because this grouping of countries into alliances was highly detrimental for the world peace. And we have seen so many arenas of Cold War in which we see that in so many areas these alliances came in conflict with each other, though they stopped at a certain level, but still there was loss of life, loss of property. So it was very much required that ये जो डिवीज़न हो रहा था वर्ल्ड का दो अलायंस में, इसको रोका जाए. And this effort was done by the non-aligned movement, which is also called NAM. So what we see that before the starting of the non-aligned movement, all the countries of the world have only two options. Either they have to join Eastern Alliance or they have to join Western Alliance. Other than this, they don't have any option. But this NAM, non-aligned movement, gave them a third option. It's not compulsory. Now after this non-aligned movement, what happened that it was not compulsory for the countries to join any of the alliance system. If they wanted not to join any of the alliance system, they can do this. It was possible for them to not to join any of the alliances because they were given a third choice, that is non-aligned movement. And that is the reason this non-aligned movement is considered as a challenge to bipolarity. It was a challenge to bipolarity. The world was divided into two poles, two superpowers, US and USSR, and all the other countries of the world were they were also dividing according to their respective superpowers. So the whole world was has become bipolar, and in this situation this NAM has presented a third option. So it was considered as a challenge to bipolarity. And if we see that after the Second World War, when the Cold War started, this was the period when so many countries of Asia, Africa and Latin America, which were earlier colonies of the big powers of the country, especially the European power, now they have become independent, and they were facing so many problems in their own country, like the problem of integration of the country, then the problem of economic development, and the problem of establishment of democracy. So many problems all these countries were facing. Almost the nature of the problem was same in all these countries of third world. I told you what is third world. Third world consists of those countries which became independent after the सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर. तो ये जो थर्ड वर्ल्ड कंट्रीज थे, इनके सामने बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स थी, एंड देयर वर मैनी थर्ड वर्ल्ड कंट्रीज हु डिड नॉट वांट टू बी इन्वॉल्व्ड इन दिस alliance system, because they have earned their freedom by paying a lot of cost, and now they did not want to lose this freedom at any cost. And there were many countries who were of the opinion that if they join any of the alliances, then they will not be able to be free and independent, especially in foreign policies. And that was the reality, because if they join any of the alliance system, then they will have to follow the respective superpower only. They will not be free in formulating their foreign policy independently. So that will be a kind of colonization. They will again come under colonization. So there were many countries who wanted this third option, and this NAM has provided them with the third option. And we see that the countries who have joined non-aligned movement, they belong to these countries of Asia, Africa and Latin America. And now we will see the starting of the NAM, how the non-aligned movement started. What we see that there was friendship between three leaders, and these three leaders, the first leader was our own Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and then the another friend, one of the most important friend of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was Joseph Broz Tito, who was the head of Yugoslavia, and one more friend was there, and that he was Egypt's leader Gamal Abdel Nasser. So these three were friends, and from their friendship only we see that this NAM has started. So I am writing down the names of these three leaders. So the country is India, and the leader is Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Then Yugoslavia, and the name of the leader is Joseph Broz Tito. Okay, and then Egypt, and the name of the leader is Gamal Abdel Nasser. So from their friendship originated this concept of non-aligned movement. There was a meeting of these three friends in the year 1956. And what we find that these three leaders, they also got support from other two leaders. The one is Indonesia's Sukarno, and the second is Ghana's Kwame Nkrumah. So I am writing their names also, because these five are considered as the founding fathers of non-aligned movement. So you must remember their name. Okay, so Indonesia, Sukarno, and Ghana's Kwame Nkrumah. So these were the leaders. These were known as the founding fathers of the non-aligned movement. And we see that the first meeting of we can say it a summit, first summit of non-aligned movement was held in Belgrade in 1961. That was the beginning of the non-aligned movement. Its first summit. Summit means those meetings are called summit, in which the premier or the head of the country participate. जैसे summit जो होता है, जो माउंटेन होता है, उसकी जो एक सबसे ऊपर की जो चोटी होती है, दैट इज कॉल्ड समिट, है ना. तो इन द सिमिलर वे जो एक कंट्री होते हैं उसमें जो सबसे प्रीमियर पोजीशन पे होता है, जो सबसे ऊंचा पोस्ट होता है, वो जब वो उस पोस्ट को होल्ड करने वाले जब मीटिंग में पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं तो उसको हम लोग कहते हैं समिट. ओके, सो द फर्स्ट समिट ऑफ नाम was held in 1961 in Belgrade. This is also very important. We can say it's a factual information. It's not conceptual, but some factual informations are also important, and you must remember these things. You need to be, you need to memorize. इन चीज़ों को आपको याद करना होगा कि जो फर्स्ट समिट था वो बेलग्रेड में 1961 में हुआ था. So first summit of NAM (1961) and the place was Belgrade. Okay, so we see that this happened in Belgrade. Okay, and what we find that why this non-aligned movement started. What was the reason behind the starting of this non-aligned movement? There were three reasons. The first is there was a high level of cooperation among these five countries. The five leaders which I told you, there was great cooperation was existing among these five countries, among these five leaders. And on the other hand, the condition which was prevailing in the world was full of tension and conflict, because the Cold War was growing day by day. So there was tension in the whole world because of this Cold War, and this Cold War was considered as a threat to world peace, because this Cold War was dividing the whole world into two parts. And other than these two reasons, what we see that after the end of the Second World War, so many new countries emerged because they become independent, especially countries of Asia and Africa. They were the colonies of European powers, and when in the Second World War the condition of Europe became miserable, it was not able to hold its control over the colonies, and the colonies were to be given independence. And because of this, we see that so many new independent countries emerged in the world politics, and that was also one of the reasons for the starting of this NAM, because there was a kind of unity among the third world countries, because they all were facing the same problem in present. They all have almost same past, and they all were having the same aspirations from the future also. So this was the reason, we can say, that this non-aligned movement started. So this is all for today. We will discuss other things in the next class.